There is no way of finding a single absolute truth, an irrefutable argument that might help to answer the questions of mankind. Philosophy, therefore, is dead. Because whereof we cannot speak, thereof we must be silent.
Well, silence has never been my strong suit. The reconcilement of the world's greatest mysteries have at last become within our grasp. A new Pythagorean era is born.
Oh, it seems that someone does wish to speak. It appears that you're not in agreement with Wittgenstein. That means either you have found a contradiction in the arguments of the Tractatus, or you have an absolute truth to share with us all.
I believe in the number pi.
Sorry, I didn't understand you. What was it you said you believed in?
In the number pi, in the golden section, the Fibonacci series. The essence of nature is mathematical. There is a hidden meaning beneath reality. Things are organized following a model, a scheme, a logical series. Even the tiny snowflake includes a numerical basis in its structure. Therefore, if we manage to discover the secret meaning of numbers, we will know the secret meaning of reality.
Elijah was a prophet in Israel in the 9th century BC. He appears in the Hebrew Bible, Talmud, Mishnah, Christian Bible, and the Quran. According to the Book of Kings, Elijah raised the dead, brought fire down from the sky, and ascended into heaven on a chariot. In the New Testament, both Jesus and John the Baptist are on some occasions thought to be Elijah. He is also one of the two Old Testament figures, along with Moses, who appears and converses with Jesus during the Transfiguration. It is my assessment that these biblical stories are being reinvented wrapped in modern metaphor, and indeed may implicate that fact can be drawn from fiction, and that every millisecond that we deviate into an alternative time tree, a reverse echo in the holographic construct occurs, and the future shouts back at the past. The number 9 has been associated with the 9 dragon heads of chaos, and even the number of subcompartmentalizations within the infrastructure of the Illuminati. It's also evident in Freemasonry, as 9 is associated with absolution, and is also a very powerful number for energy gathering, which is why baseball games all have 9 innings, another term for compartmentalization. We see Elijah Wood play the role of the Messiah here in Lord of the Rings. He is the savior of Middle-earth. As he slips the golden Ouroboros ring around his finger, he is transported to an alternate dimension, a world within a world. And the Master of the 9 stabs him in the side with a sacred dagger, much like the fabled Spear of Destiny pierced the side of Christ during the crucifixion. The Joker card has been turning up a lot lately as well, with the recent death of Heath Ledger, who plays the role of the Joker in the latest Batman film. Brandon Lee, who starred in The Crow, was also killed while filming a movie that required him to wear the makeup of the Jester. These deaths are intended to be markers in a computer program we call the universe. Every time the fool is hanged, so shall the fabric of reality be revealed to all. In Batman Begins, Liam Neeson's character plays the role of the leader of an organization called the League of Shadows, aka the Illuminati. Supposedly, every time society has reached the pinnacle of its cultural toxicity, and when suffering and criminal tolerance has reached the breaking point, the League of Shadows reacts by destroying said civilization and bringing about the return to balance, the return of equilibrium.
Moscow, like Constantinople or Rome before it, the city has become a breeding ground for suffering and injustice. It is beyond saving and must be allowed to die. This is the most important function of the League of Shadows. It is one we performed for centuries. Gotham must be destroyed.
In the film Deep Impact, Morgan Freeman acts as our president, another reverse time echo to the Obama presidency that may possibly be looming in our current timeline. He prepares the populace for an extinction-level event, a passing of a comet, or in our case, the passing of Nibiru, the 10th planet of our solar system.
So for the past 8 months, the United States and Russia have been building the largest spaceship ever constructed. It's being built in orbit around the Earth, and we call it the Messiah, and we call it the Messiah, we call it the Messiah, we call it the Messiah. And right now, a team of American astronauts and one Russian are at Cape Canaveral in Florida. In 2 months, they will leave on the shuttle Atlantis to board the Messiah. Shuttle Atlantis to board the Messiah. Leave on the shuttle Atlantis to board the Messiah.
Gotham, an obvious mimicry of New York City and thus the Freemasonic tracing board, needs to be purged, for it is apparently beyond saving. This calls to question, are we beyond saving? Has the polarity of the chessboard become too one-sided? And if so, must nature wipe its parasite called the human being off its delicate face every 5 to 10,000 years? The Obama-Morgan Freeman relationship is a clusterfuck of Newtonian superimposition as well as time echoes. It also may be some kind of cosmic tutorial mechanism to prepare mankind for the coming shift in vibration, the rise to fourth density, and the reuniting with an alien creator being. Morgan Freeman is set to star in the film Rendezvous with Rama, which is quite similar to 2001: A Space Odyssey in its consciousness-broadening content. When we view Jake Kotze's established works on the subject, it's certainly no coincidence that we see Mr. Freeman atop the Egyptian pyramids in the bucket list, as well as play the president in a film which purges and destroys the World Trade Center complex in New York. He also strongly resonates with the chessboard as we see him playing said game in the film Lucky Number 7. 7, a number he's also quite fond of, is a geometrical depiction of the Tree of Life and the Gnosis of the Godhead. He also happens to own a production company called Revelations Films. Anyone seeing the pattern arise? Freeman plays God in the film Bruce Almighty and actually ascends through a door of light, a supposed stairway to heaven reminiscent of Huxley's Doors of Perception. The Osiris-resonating Jim Carrey walks through his own portal of enlightenment and consciousness expansion in The Truman Show. His creator views him with disdain from his base on the moon, the same as our creator gods may be doing at this very moment. Obama may be the polar opposite of Freeman in that he is a wolf in sheep's clothing and the perfect New World Order puppet to carry out what the collective consciousness has been asking for years. Armageddon, the death and rebirth of all things. We are literally creating this reality with our very thought processes.
It's time. Free will, right?
Deciphering the prophecies of Nostradamus has never been a very easy task. However, he's made it quite clear who he feels the third Antichrist is going to be. He mentions the code word Mabus, M-A-B-U-S. If read from a mirror, it says Subon. Now hide the S and you have Ubon. When mentioning Hitler as his second Antichrist, he uses the letter S to hide the code Hister. So assuming that the letter A could be moved anywhere in this particular code, you would have Obama. As our Antichrist/Messiah, Keanu Reeves, transforms into angelic form over a checkerboard in The Devil's Advocate, we truly see the black and white polarity of a holographic message beginning to form. Part 2 of this presentation will arrive next week. Thanks so much for all of your support.
Don't ever let them see you coming. That's the gaff, my friend. You gotta keep yourself small, innocuous. Maybe the little guy. You know, the nerd, the leper, shit-kicking surfer. Look at me. Underestimated from day one. You'd never think I was a master of the universe now, would you?
Crime, despair. This is not how man was supposed to live. The League of Shadows has been a check against human corruption for thousands of years. We sacked Rome, loaded trade ships with plague rats, burned London to the ground. Every time a civilization reaches the pinnacle of its decadence, we return to restore the balance.